Well, hello. Welcome to episode 8 of the Happy Little Boards Show. It has been, as they said when I was in my 20s, a hot minute. Very happy to be back. A lot has happened, and life has happened, and I needed to pause and come back to this when I was ready. And so I did. And I kept busy with other stuff and doing lots of music stuff and work. And I changed careers, which has been awesome. Real quick story, I switched from the landscaping job I was working at, and I'm doing spelling to communicate, which is a motor control, motor function training method to help people that are nonverbal communicate with a letterboard. It's related. Look up apraxia. It's related to autism. So I'm working with a student at a high school using a letterboard to help facilitate her communication. It's wonderful. I love it. It's very random that I landed there, but I found something that makes me happy, and I'm happy about it. So that's a win. And that's been a big focus in life lately. So yeah, we're back. What do we got today? I'm finally doing it. I'm finally diving in and showing you guys the Chompi. And it's not going to be, I got to do a whole separate video for this thing, because we're not even going to get into the full capabilities of this amazing little device here. But essentially it's a sampler, and it's supposed to be in the realm of if you were to have tape loops and make cool music with tape. But I'm not going to dive too far into it, because this will be an 8-hour long episode. And I want to just sit and chill with you guys and make some ambient music and talk about some stuff. So we're going to do that. But it has a microphone on it, and it also has an input, so you can plug some audio source into it and sample that. And you just push a button and it samples it, and it's awesome. And what I did, because I like to challenge myself and I like to have fun, and I like to also prove that you don't have to have you don't even have to have musical instruments, and you can still find ways to make music and play with sound. I decided to sample the little song that plays when you turn the dryer off, the washing machine off in my house. So I'll show you that little video right now of me doing that. See, I just had to push the button, put the microphone near there, and I accidentally left a pedal on. Let's let that fade out. There's our sample. That's it. So we're going to use that. That's all we're going to use. One sound. And we're going to use some tools on here to manipulate that slightly. And we're going to use the pedals. And we're going to make ambient music and relax and have some fun and talk about some stuff. And that's going to be the show. Just that one noise, one sample. We're going to make something fun, and we're going to have fun doing it. Just a silly little thing. All right, so where to start? Well, actually, first of all, how could I forget? Let's go over the pedal board real quick. Today I decided to put on the Walrus Audio Slow. You've heard me talk about this. As the kids say, I glaze this pedal. I love it so much. It is such a wonderful textural reverb. It's in the inexpensive realm of pedals. It's not, especially if you look for one used, they're out there. It's a great thing to pick up if you like to make dreamy music or you love just listening to fantastic reverb. It's also good on like synths and like I've used it with samples and like strings, like not real strings because I don't play strings like violin, but samples of strings from synthesizers and stuff like that. It's great for all that. Yeah, good stuff. Has a little sustain button too. You can have it like keep a pad playing while you're playing over it. Next we got that random one-off the pedal that shouldn't have existed, thanks to Emily Hopkins, the harp lady on YouTube. It's the octave pedal from Old Blood Noise Endeavors. You've seen it on here before. They always make their pedals weird. Like, it's hard to explain. There's like a flavor of Old Blood Noise Endeavors pedals, and this has that. And it just adds some octaves, and it's kind of like a weird delay circuit. I don't know. It's cool. It adds some interesting things, makes the octaves go up. It's worth having on here, especially for this stuff. It's so fun to play with. Then we have Ye Old Earthquaker Devices Dispatch Master, which is, as you've also heard me praise this pedal, just a great delay reverb combo. It's one of those where if you just need that little extra thing to make your dry signal not dry and add some love to your signal and just give it that little special thing, that's probably the first thing I would recommend buying, because you get 2 in 1. You get reverb and delay, and you can pretty much separate them with the pedal if you want one or the other, and it's so easy to dial it in. No pun intended. There's a telephone on the front of it, and it's just nothing fancy, just really nice reverb and a really nice delay, and it just adds that nice little outfit to your sound. And then lastly, just again for some cool weirdness, we got the reverse from the Old Blood Noise Endeavors BL series. Another fun one. Just reverses your signal, and it again has that weird like kind of digital bit rate reduction thing with the clock and the speed, and it adds like a delay to it. It's their style. I love them. Endlessly weird and perfect for this kind of stuff. After that, the ditto that's always there, our looper to make the loop, because that's how I roll. And I highly recommend, if you want a setup like this, get a little looper. I think you can pretty much find these for $60 now. Just a simple one button, record your thing, make a loop, have some fun, relax. What more can you ask for? I have some tea with me today, some peppermint tea, and to warm up my hands, because my hands have been perpetually cold this past week because it's been very chilly here. And yeah, so that's the setup. And as always, I'm using my little tiny little Black Star desktop little amplifier for a monitor to hear so you can hear and I can hear what we're playing. And yeah, with that, let's get into it and make a layer. And I already did get at least a setting on this. That's why it was on the slow, where it's gonna swell in, and then I think I'm gonna see, I don't even know where that's at, the dispatch master. And yeah, we'll just start with something simple like that. In terms of the Chompi, the few knobs up here with the colored lights, this one, it adjusts the pitch. These two adjust the like starting point of the sample. So like if you have space before the sample starts, like when you hit it, there's like a pause before the sample starts. You can turn this, bring the starting point over, and just like you would imagine, this one's for the ending point, so you can adjust the starting and ending to get the sample to be just the right size. You can also click these and it offers you an attack and decay setting, so how quickly the sound comes in, you can kind of swell it in, and also how long it takes for it to fade out when you let go of the key. And then here we have 3 different effects. We have this cool delay, kind of like ping pong stereo delay on here, although we're not running in stereo. And then this one is a gain. And this one is a like high pass, it might be high and low pass filter. Basically some EQ thing. They do have secondary features, but I'm not going to mess with that today. Again, there's a lot to this, a lot more than you're going to see today, and I'll get to that at some point. I'm still learning myself, but it really is like, go check it out. They are now part of the Chase Bliss audio family, so go check the Chompi videos out. They actually just started releasing a bunch of instructional videos. You can get the manual online if you want to take a look at all the features and read it. There's some great videos out there to show you what it can do. It literally is the perfect little tool to play with sound in this way that I've been doing, which is why as soon as I saw the opportunity, I snatched one up used on the Reverb site, because it's perfect for this. It's just, I couldn't have asked for a better thing to add to, a better tool to add to this setup of sitting and playing with music for the sake of being creative, exercising my brain, reducing my anxiety, and getting some form of focused attention meditation in. It's just the perfect pairing for this whole thing. Go check it out. It's worth your time. Now let's make some noise. Let's see what this sounds like. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Actually, let's see if I can get it to... Let's see. Get it to stop. Stop a little sooner than that. Fade out. I forgot to mention that essentially what this does is the middle button that has the little light on it, that represents the original sample that you took, the one we got from the washing machine. Then it spreads it out. It's actually speeding it up and slowing it down to change the pitch, but it spreads it out over the keyboard. So these white keys and black keys are like a piano. So there's your original signal, and it gets slower and lower this way and faster and higher this way. So it spreads it out and you can play it like a piano. Wonderful. All right, so I'm just going to turn on the looper. I'm going to press some keys and we're going to get a bass layer going. It's been a while since I sat and did this. I'm going to stick with the white keys as I like to do, or the black keys. just because it tends to keep it all sounding pleasing, because it's all going to be in the same key. But if you like things that sound dissonant, or you want to make it sound however you want, play around, see what you like. There are absolutely no rules except for do what works for you with this. I'm hoping to give you guys kind of a rough philosophy of how to start playing. Let that fade. There we go. Got our base layer. Alright, so let's find a new sound. So for this, I'm actually going to turn this down so we can hear what we're doing. So if I spin this pitch knob, it will just like slow it down smoothly as if you were slowing down a tape. However, because I want to kind of keep this in tune with itself, if you hold this shift button, which is like a multifunction button here, a little Chompi smiley face, it will shift it down, I believe, in fifths. So it's a couple clicks and it's going down an octave. And they do a great job where the light changes so you know that it's switched. Yeah. There. So I can tell that that fits with the key that we were working in. So let's see, we should do some dream, do some wobbly stuff here. Do some dream reverb. That's cool. Might want to turn it down. I'm actually also going to add a little reverb here. And then let's see what this sounds like with the reverse. Alright, I'm gonna use, that's what, again, I'll always say it, I love when there's a volume, because then we can adjust it. Also, just side note, because you might have noticed this, with the ditto, I find that you have to have it at like 2 o'clock to really have it represent the full volume. I don't know why like noon isn't unison volume, but yeah, let's turn these down. Can actually turn it down a little here too. I like that. Why don't we add a little dirt? And then I believe, yeah. This is kind of a gain setting. There we go. All right. I like that. So, what's been on my mind lately? Perspective. I can definitely say that. Just right. Perspective is arguably one of the most important things to remember, to reflect on a different perspective. I believe perspective is heavily tied to empathy. The whole walk a mile in another person's shoes idea. And there's a situation in my life that has almost forced me to make sure I was taking perspective and really reflecting on another person's experience in life. And it's been super interesting, and it's been challenging to my way of thinking about something. So I have a really good friend, and she has been married for a while, over 10 years, and on the surface, like, you wouldn't have thought anything was necessarily, like, there wasn't anything wrong, but she couldn't help but feel like for a while there was this kind of disconnect and like unhappiness that was there lingering. And not that it was necessarily anyone's fault in the relationship, but it was something that was there. And she was talking to me about this, and it was as if it was just kind of ignored. Like, she was saying how she hadn't really been honest with herself about how she really felt because of what that would mean to admit it out loud, I guess, is the best way to say it. And basically, the long story short is her husband went through a lot of positive changes, like did a lot of work, or found his true self in a way, or was exploring that, and was really having some success and doing great. And it almost shined a bigger spotlight on that unhappiness and lack that was there for her. And it's how she was explaining it to me, it was almost as if she wasn't able to. It created a disconnect in the relationship because she wasn't able to join him on that journey, because she realized that might be a journey she needed to go on herself. And it simultaneously highlighted that for her. And then from her perspective, she wasn't able to be the person for him that she saw, from her eyes, saw that he would need, because she needed to go take time and do something else. And so it led her to realize that there needed to be a separation, like the relation that those two people up to that point in the timeline now can't continue forward. There needed to be a separation for them to both be able to go on this journey away from each other. But it came from a place of love and caring and necessity and need and desire to be a happier, better person. So I'm hearing this, and of course, my initial reaction is, yeah, that's first of all, that's brave to admit that to yourself and to go there and to realize that, and because it's a scary thing. And also, yes, of course you have to do that because that's the right thing, and that's what's in your heart. And so that was just the obvious thought, listening to it told to me by my friend who I care about. And I care a lot about her husband as well. But just hearing her be honest about that truly was interesting to me, because it's not necessarily, you say, oh, you separate from your spouse. The immediate if you just say that to people, it sounds bad. But the way I was hearing it from her, it sounded like not a good thing, but the right thing to do. So this falls in that category of the difficult thing is often the right thing. But in this case, there is a lot of collateral damage in terms of feelings, and not hurt, but scary change and something unexpected. And it really just sent me down this road of thinking from all these different perspectives in this situation, because it was just the way it was laid out for me. I was just like, wow, there's so, like, if you made this a movie and you did the thing where you see each person's story, you'd end up feeling empathy for each person, even though it's feeling a completely different thing. And none of it's right or none of it's wrong. It's just how it is. And I just found that really fascinating, and it made me look inward and deeply and reflect on myself as a person, and think, just, I don't know, it was super interesting. And I just wanted to share that because I think that there's something to be said for, obviously you're going to support your friend that's talking to you and telling you about something that they're going through or the way they're feeling, but it is really important to also take that moment to meditate and reflect on how that can look and feel and be for the other people involved, who might not understand what exactly the person is feeling who has, affected them in a certain way. So let's make another layer, because I'm going on and on. But it was just, I really wanted to share all of this because I think this is something that was a really helpful moment for the rest of my life. All right, I gotta hit record. That would help. I'm just gonna sprinkle in a little of these moments. I'm curious, like, do you have any, with hearing me say that, do you have any stories that made you think of, or times where somebody maybe did something or affected you in a way that you didn't initially understand why it was happening, or you were angry or confused, and then later gained some perspective where you realized it was the right thing for them to do, even though it maybe was negative for you at the time? I feel like there must be tons of those moments, and we maybe don't even realize it. Maybe there's moments that you're thinking about now that you hadn't looked back on, and you can understand it differently. Are we back? Gotta be close. There, all right. We've come back around. All right, let's do some of this crazy octave pedal now. And we can, maybe we'll take a break with that, and we'll do some delay. Some long delay. So, I was thinking about the perspective of the husband too, and that was the one that I was like, oh man, this is gonna be difficult, because it's probably not what he would want. Obviously, you don't like want that to happen, but at the same time, if she's being open and honest about this way that she feels, and explaining it the way, expressing herself the way that she did to me, I would hope that he could see that it was brave of her to say those things, and brave of her to admit that she feels this way, because she's not choosing to feel this way. That's the thing. She just does feel this way, and she's not blaming him. There's no actual blame to be had here. Ooh, that's cool. Okay. But you can't ignore the fact that that's the feelings that are there. So, like, from my perspective as a friend, it's like, I'm proud of you for doing this, but I'm also thinking from his perspective, it's like, there must be, like, must be hard not to have a, like, how dare you do this to me kind of feeling. But again, from my perspective, I'm feeling proud of her for doing that. So I can understand both things, and both things can exist at the same time. So I think that's what's interesting to me, is there's no right or wrong here. It's just a thing that's happening, and that a change in the universe that needs to happen. And you can't look at it and say one person is right, one person's wrong, or like it's good or bad. It's just a thing, and that's life, you know. And I think we always try to think of things in that way of needing to say like this, a thing happened and somebody is right, somebody is wrong, it is good or it is bad, and this binary black or white thinking, when it, and in the long run also, that's another difficult part, is in the present it's hard and painful for both people, and scary and confusing and different. But as long as there's good communication with them, in the long run, no matter where the both of those people's path takes them, they will always be connected by co-parenting their children and the relationship that they had together, and that chunk of their lives where they grew and changed. There will always be that connection, and as long as they honor that and there's communication and honesty about it, and it's not, there's no blame. I think that's the factor. No one did anything wrong on paper, you know. It wasn't like an adultery situation or like an abuse situation. It's just people changing. So wherever that journey leads to both of them in the future, from starting from this good place of honesty and communication and not blaming, the future could potentially be right and better. Should be, for both of them, if they continue to support each other as two people that still very much care about the happiness of the other. So it's making this change almost as an investment to make sure that both parties can be happy in the future. And it's not for one person to decide that it's the right thing for the other's future to lead to happiness. However, you can only have that happy path together if both people are truly happy. So if not, then it would that's a guarantee that it would not land in a place that is good. Eventually, that would lead to a break that probably wasn't supportive, and it would lead to pain by forcing something to be something it's not. So this hard, confusing, difficult, painful thing now that feels all those things immediately, you need to have perspective for the future. I'm just trying to layer in that word perspective, because that's really what it is, where this could be the only way to a future where both people are happy and can say that they supported each other and let each other do what they needed to do to thrive and be their best selves. And that's still love. It's just a different form. Like, that's what I mean. It is right and just and loving and from a place of care. So it is the right thing to do, which seems contradictory because it's a painful, difficult, sad, messy, confusing, scary thing to do. But that can also be the only path to what is good and right. And it's all... There is a little bit of selflessness too, because if she knows and believes and feels in her heart that she cannot be the person that he needs to be his best self, it would be selfish to pretend and hide that and stay there and let that fester. From her perspective, there's a form of, yes, she has to do this for herself, but she's also knows that she's doing this in a way, in a selfless manner, to what she believes and hopes is to benefit his future and happiness. And again, the key factor in all of this being okay is good communication. Maybe we should put this back at the original pitch. So I'm going to hold the shift and I click that and it goes back. I'm going to put the mix all the way up. There, that's cool. We'll just do some little like sprinkly things. And I'll turn this down also. Okay. So yeah, it just, obviously, it really like, the situation really made me, like, I just sat and I had to think about it, talk to my therapist about it, because it was just such a interesting thing, because because of who I am as a person, I can fully appreciate what his perspective must be. And I guess I put myself in that position. But I'm also hearing what she's saying, and I was like, wow, I fully understand both sides of this. And it's a good life lesson. To sit and understand that these things will happen. And when you're faced with these situations, your perspective is not the only perspective that exists. And you can only hope, you can at least, you need to, for yourself, make sure you understand if something happens to you that is impactful like that. Even if it's a good thing, because sometimes positive, like, or what could be labeled as like exciting, good things can result in a negative outcome, right? Because you might get blinded by something exciting that's happening. So it's important to sit and explore and say, okay, what is happening inside of this person? Are they hurting? Are they unhappy? Is there something I don't understand about them? that is going on here that has led to this. It's not something personal. It's just, it could be very much something that's happening with the other person, that if you knew how they were feeling, you would have sympathy for that. And you don't know. And they might not know. And they might be acting in a way they don't understand because they haven't been honest with themselves about how they're feeling. And that's not personal to you. And maybe that's a way, or if you take that perspective, you can look at them and go, oh, I think you might be hurting. Maybe I should ask you if I can help you with this, because I noticed this thing. You know, rather than just being upset and holding a grudge or taking revenge or saying you hate someone or losing a relationship. You might gain one of the strongest relationships you have ever had if you just take that perspective for a second. I don't know, I would argue it might be the way the world gets to be a little bit better if we take moments like that. All right, let's see if we can reverse this thing. I think I can. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so now we got a cool new sound. With the pitch knob, you can actually reverse the thing. So I'm going to, actually, you know what? Let's get it up to, just changes it slightly enough, you know? We're gonna change this reverb to the dark one. We're gonna put the octave all the way up. Let's switch the type of modulation. Decay there. Let's see. Let's go up. There we go. And we'll do double reverb, and we'll put the reverse on, but we'll turn the speed up and see what happens. Oh, actually, maybe we can put the mix up all the way too. Some cool noises. So now, all right, we have to put delay on that. I keep looking up suspiciously because at one point the GoPro shut down because it overheated because I had it plugged in, and I'm just looking suspiciously. That's why I'm not looking at you suspiciously. I'm looking at the GoPro, making sure it's still recording. So you know what? I'm going to switch it back to that dream setting for the reverb. Because I don't think that lower octave thing that's going is doing any good. I'm going to put the mix up high. There we go. Now that's some cool stuff. Okay, actually, let's see if I can... There we go. Ooh! It's spicy. That clock slider is wild. Alright, we gotta turn the volume down on this thing. There we go. I like that. I like it. Alright, let's turn this back up. Add some more in there. This is definitely a unique loop compared to some of the other ones we've made. Well, yeah, my GoPro overheats. Stuff happens. Equipment failure. We're fine. Should be good. So, on that note, though, I don't really want to add anything else to this loop because I think it's pretty freaking cool. And yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think about that story I told, because it really threw my brain for a loop. And I think it was, I'm 43, starting to understand the world differently, and how we're all just people going through stuff, and we don't really know each other's full stories, And it's important to take that moment and gain that perspective of what someone else might be feeling and going through. Because it could make the difference on whether or not they end up okay and you end up okay. And it's just communication, perspective, and empathy, and understanding, and knowing that there isn't always right and wrong or good and bad. That usually there's where you might find something that you feel is wrong or bad. Most times there's pain there that is at the root of it, or a lack of love. So why would you want to combat and help? Why would you try to help with the bad things in the world by not showing them love, when that could be the single thing that they need, even if you don't understand it and you see it as a bad thing? What if there's just pain there? And what if it's just a case where someone wasn't ever shown love and you're the first person to do so, or no one was ever honest with them? Or what if you see something in them that you have gone through yourself, and you're brave enough to open up to them and show them that you've felt similarly, that you've felt that before, or something like that, and make them not feel alone. You know what I mean? Like, that can make the difference in one person's life, and then that can carry through to the next person. It can help them open up and show that it becomes contagious, if you will, you know? And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about that lately, and I think the little things like that, where you face up to a moment where you need to be honest and open and be brave enough to face pain and say that you're in pain and talk about it, because we all go through that. And even if you're talking about it with the person that caused you the pain, because they might not know the pain they caused you also. Like, there's all, you know, I'm not the first person to say this stuff, but it's this situation just really opened my eyes pretty big to the importance of all of that. So I hope maybe me talking about this today and being brave enough to tell this story here on YouTube, you know, and maybe that will help one of you to be brave enough to talk about something like that. So I'd be happy to hear, of course, I'd be happy to hear any stories you might have. If you want to send me a private message or leave it as a comment or anything, please feel free to share any insights you might have, or similar situations that you've been through or seen someone else go through that feels like what I was talking about, because I feel like it's just such a human thing to see happening. It's so very human, because human is complicated. Human is not easy, but human is interesting, and human is exciting in the way of growth and sharing and facing things together. Because that's the thing, is you face these things, you are your individual person, and you have to face it alone inside yourself, as in you're the only one that can be honest with yourself about how you're feeling and face the truth that's like in your heart. But at the same time, you can be open with the people in your lives that care about you and the people around you in your community, and share that, and then you're not alone, you are together. So you can be going through it yourself individually, but you can also not be alone. And I think that's how we get through these things, because in my experience, there's always something helpful to my situation that I'm facing that comes from an open conversation with another person. Even if it's something that's not right for me, the lesson there would be like, that's not gonna work for me. And that's still helpful. So it doesn't even have to be good advice. It could be bad advice that still, because you know it's not the right thing for you, because you've heard that, you then know it helps you figure out, well, no, that's not how I need to face this. And that's also helpful. So it's hard to not end up with something worthwhile from talking to another human being about this stuff and being open. And it will, I guarantee you, it will help other people feel not alone. It'll help them feel like it gives other people a feeling that you care about them, because you're being like, I care about you enough to share this thing with you honestly. And that's a nice thing. So go take a moment in your next day or week and find something like that and do that. Just for a moment. And see what happens. Be brave enough to see what happens. That's your homework. It felt good to talk about all that. And with that, I shall sip my tea and take some deep breaths and close episode 8 of the Happy Little Board Show. Go check out the JHS demos that I have up. I don't know if they're all going to be out by the time this posts, but it'll be nearby. There'll be at least be 2 of the 3 out. So go check them out. And I think I'm also going to make a new meditation video to put up too. Because I'm due for one of those. I need a new one for myself to use. So I think I might make one and put that up for all of you to share. Use for your meditative moments. Alright. I will see you in the next one. Let's take some breaths.